good day, everybody. Welcome to Stream of Card Consciousness. Thanks for being with us today. As always, joined by my partner, Greg Smith. How you doing today, Greg?
Mark, I'm doing great, man. Episode 21. It's been a minute. We've both got a lot of stuff going on, but ready to jump right back in and tackle some things we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. So, man, good to see you. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right. As you know, Greg knows I've been battling you wouldn't think a big toe injury would lay up, but I have had this problem with my left big toe for a couple of weeks. And oh my God, it swelled up like a damn baseball. And it's finally on the mend. So I'm feeling a lot better. And then we went to West Virginia and we're traveling around. So taking advantage of some time off. And so it's good to be back. So we're going to do our cards of the week like we usually lead off. Greg has some cards that probably like the last 2 weeks for us all. So go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, well, the first one I've got, it's just kind of a novelty thing here. It's 1969, I think, Greg Smith. Tall
There you
boy.
go.
Yeah, it's I've always, I've got really the only sport that I don't have a Greg Smith card on is football. You've got a guy that played for the Cubs in the early 90s, and you got this Greg Smith apparently played for the Bucks in the early 70s, and then you got a Greg Smith that played hockey in the 80s I can't even remember, but Brian Zalanka sent me that card a while back, so I've always liked that one. Next one I've got, I'm doing an SGC Yaz run. I think a lot of people know, and I've gotten some really good ones. And I've got this one that came in. I gotta send a shout out to Bill Page for this one. We were in a claim sale late one night, and he was going nuts, and there was a lot of Yastrzemski, a lot of raw Yastrzemski, which I already have, and he claimed this SGC4 card that I got, the 68, claimed it, and I put a little sad face because I was sad I missed it. That's what I needed. And he reached out to me through Messenger and said, man, if I know that you're going after Yaz. I didn't, long story short, he let me have it for that price that he claimed it for. I claimed it, and then he deleted his claim, so I got it. So that was cool. And then, so major kudos to him. And then this one here is a Yastrzemski game card. So I figured with OPG and with other oddballs, Kellogg's, things like that, Yastrzemski's going to have about 40 cards. Realistically, that I'm gonna get in an SGC at some point, and I'm about a little less than halfway there, so I've got 17 out of the 40. So those are my cards of the week. Again, major shout out to Bill for that 68. I really appreciate that, man. So and that's mine. So what do you got for us, Mark?
Yeah, Bill seems like a good guy.
He is.
He welled up on my one sale. I think it was the last show that we sent the cards for his daughter and stuff. But he strikes me as a really good guy, so that doesn't surprise me that he did that. My cards of the week. So I had some people first get the ones that were gifted to me by amazing people. And honestly, it just just looking at it, it kind of gets me like choked up. People know I love Luke Easter. And Chris Jenkins sent me this beautiful Luke Easter PSA 4. And,
nice.
That didn't have to do that. When somebody sends me something, whether it's 1990 Donruss or 54 Tops, it stays in my PC forever. And that was really nice of Chris Jenkins. And he put in a nice note in Old Baseball Digest magazine, which I really appreciate. So that was from Chris. So that's in my Easter collection. And then from the show, our last show, Richard Kavorka was on with us, and he went to a card show. He got these in Milwaukee, and he got me a bunch of Luke Easters. But this one is just beautiful, 53 Luke Easter. And
that is really nice. That
whole
set's
just beautiful. Yeah. And again, he didn't have to do that. That was just generosity that, it just blows me away. I can't thank them guys enough. And then on my travels, so before I went to West Virginia, I'm out in the hunt. I went to Tampa to get a bunch of tonnage, and I stopped in Plant City. And again, this is bizarre. Don't ask me why I do this, but I can't help it. Like Jesse Barfield auto, right? Like why, Mark? But I stopped in this shop in Plant City, Florida, called the Flogo. This is these guys, the Flogo Card Shop. And mostly modern. And what is interesting, Plant City, right, Craig? Like in
Sure.
the middle of nowhere. There's nothing going on.
Right.
And there's 3 card shops in Plant City. So it's
Well, I mean,
crazy.
Plant City's it's not as isolated as it used to be. I think you
Mhm.
got Tampa kind of creeping right into it, but yeah,
Yeah.
three in that town is kind of
Yeah,
surprising.
right
You're right.
downtown. And most of them were modern, but the guy, he was nice at the Flogo. So I picked that up. If I'm in there flapping my jaws, wasting your time talking to you, I always try to buy something. So it was like $5. So that's a beautiful signature, and I love beautiful signatures. So that was that. So then we went to West Virginia, and this is the only card shop in Charleston, West Virginia. The name escapes me, but I did a short video while I was up there from the shop. And I got the 89 Topps Harold Baines auto certified 10. Got that up there again. I was talking to the guy. A lot of modern. They're going through some vintage and stuff like that. Looks like they're in a bit of a transitional phase, but this was like $20. And I believe in shopping small, support local, and it was the only thing they really had in there that moderately interested me. But it's a great signature. It's a 10. It's Harold Baines, Hall of Famer. So I like that. And then finally, this one really got me fired up. I was talking on the last show about the long ago Black Stars by Laughlin. I
Yeah,
was able to get this for $7. So that's Ted Trent. And
that's
these are,
awesome.
yeah, I got that. There's the back. You can see how simple they are, but
And you
these
said
cards are amazing.
those are from like 1974. Is
The
that right?
Laughlin 74 and 78. This is the 1978 run,
Okay.
which is believed to be smaller. I guess the 74 run, they're thinking less than 1,000 sets. And the 78 run, they think maybe as little as 250.
Right.
So, he was selling them mail order and maybe a few shops across America. I did a deep dive in the history of the Laughlin Black Stars series. And these were like $1 a set when they came out. $1
Wow.
to the 74s. He was selling them because there's only 32 cards. And then I think the 78s are like 350. Same
Wow.
thing, really only 32 cards in the set. And I was bidding on one on eBay and it went for 380 something for the set. So I lost out on that. But I'm determined to get one. So that's kind of my newest thing. I love those cards. So those are my cards of the week.
Right.
That's what I got.
All right. Well, that's cool. A couple things, man. Jesse Barfield was the man for a while. I remember his 82 tops was a $2 or $3 card at one point. Then he went to the Yankees and kind of fell off the face
Yeah.
of the earth. And then Harold Baines, man, we're going to talk about him a little bit more, I think, here in a minute. But Harold
Yeah.
Baines, anytime you get an auto like that for $20, it's a 10. Sign me up, man.
Mhm.
As
I loved it.
much grief as he gets, that's a great card. So kudos, congratulations to you, man. And I'm sure it made that guy's day for you to buy that, man. Just a lot of people come in and look around and just kind of leave, I bet. So
Yeah, I
good for you
never
for
do
doing that.
that. I always, whenever I go in the shop, even if it's $3, $5, $10, or shop local, support small. These guys are brick and mortar stores are hard to find, especially how it is where I live, Greg. There's nothing. So if I go in a store, I'm gonna support that guy and find something. There's something there that whether it's modern or vintage. I'm not a big modern guy, but if I could pick up so I got that Bob Feller card too with the patch on it. So
Yeah.
just grab something, even if it's just $5, $10, and help these people out a little bit.
Right. And with the Black Star set, man, I think it's great. And I think that kind of really makes me think, I'm really glad that a lot of the Negro League players are getting some love and getting some Hall of Fame consideration. And, it kind of led us down the road of talking about, we talk about Hall of Famers from time to time and who's in and who's not. And we had a pretty lively discussion about all that. Hey puppy, I see the doggy in the back. That's funny.
Yeah,
That's so funny. We had a pretty
yeah.
good discussion about it though. So I know you wanted to talk about it a little bit, and I've got some guys, some off the radar guys I think should maybe get a little bit closer look. So why don't we start talking about that, man? See what
Yeah,
we got
definitely.
as far as
Yeah,
Hall
I'll
of Fame.
go with I'll go with mine.
Okay.
And I'm pretty passionate about the one, but so for me, and this is gonna be a little bit different. We're not going to be putting out the usual Dave Parker, Lou Whitaker, this, that, the other thing that everybody talks about that they should be in the Hall of Fame. Dale Murphy, it gets talked about till we all know they should be in the Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
I was looking at the position of shortstop, and I think it's kind of a shame that we measure, I think, the greatness of shortstops kind of against maybe like Cal Ripken, those type of numbers, the stratospheric numbers, once in a lifetime. You're never going to have a shortstop, that puts up those kind of numbers again. And for me, when I was younger, well, it was probably my late 20s, not younger, but the guy I really liked was Jimmy Rollins. And
Yeah.
I was, again, use the eyeball test. Jimmy Rollins, there's a Jimmy Rollins rookie card. Got that in a bag of tonnage. Was happy to find that. So I saw Jimmy Rollins. I thought Jimmy Rollins is a definite Hall of Famer. You look at his numbers are comparable to Barry Larkin's. Right there with Larkin, who's in the Hall of Fame. Right there with Aparicio, which to me, come at me, give me a hard time. Luis Aparicio, does he resonate among the greats of all time? Probably not. But Jimmy Rollins had a lot of black ink. I think 12 or 14 black ink. They use that on Baseball Reference as the leading the league. He's got a World Series, All Stars, Gold Gloves, all that stuff. So his numbers are very comparable to players that are in the Hall of Fame. And then the other one, as we've heard me say this before, and I get laughed at a lot when I say this. Greg doesn't. Greg agrees. That's my friend Manny Trio. And yeah, I'm a little biased. I spent some time at Manny, hitting the golf ball, this stuff, out in the parking lot, tipping back some old par, hearing old baseball stories of Manny. So yeah, I'm a little biased, but because honestly, until I met Manny, I was like, decent player. But then it led me to look at his story a little deeper. He come out of deep poverty, Venezuela, middle of nowhere, self-made man. Nobody ever gave Manny Trio anything. And you look at his numbers may be better than Jimmy Rollins. I mean, as far as the Gold Gloves, and he's won Silver Sluggers and the World Series and the National League Championship MVP and All-Star and on and on and on. And again, you say he played for 4 or 5 teams because, he was valued as a player that helped put you over the top defensively, but he could pop too. And you look at Aparicio, Manny's numbers are right there. And I think that Manny Trio is definitely a Hall of Famer. I really believe that.
I would say that I agree with you, especially, I mean, Trio to me is a fence guy. There's a thing that floats around. It's called the Hall of Very Good. And Trio, he's got a case. Rollins, I think, has a better case just basically because to me, he was more dynamic. He set the table. He was maybe not as good defensively, but offensively, I think he was a little bit better than Manny. But I think you can make a strong case for either one of them, especially, and we'll get into this in a second, but especially when you really do a deep dive into the numbers of some of the guys that are in there. Some of the older guys, for whatever reason, like Rabbit Marinville is a good example.
There it is.
Yeah. I mean,
what the hell is he doing in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah. What is he doing in the Hall of Fame? And you look at his numbers, I mean, lifetime 258 hitter, I don't understand it, but I think you make a strong case for both. My two kind of fly a little bit under the radar, and they both came up around the same time in the early 70s. My first one really, and I've seen his name a little bit more lately, is Bobby Grich. I'm a WAR guy. I think WAR, kind of encompasses how players do in their entire body of work. It's a work in progress, but I think it's a good measure. I mean, he's over 70 WAR. You look at Harold Baines at under 40 WAR, really had 2 black ink, I think, in his entire career. Didn't get a Silver Slugger. Bobby had 2 black ink as well. Also finished top 10 in the MVP voting 3 times and won a number of Gold Gloves. He just always flew under the radar, and maybe not fame, the criteria, but if you're looking for a great ball player, he'd be the top of my list. Other than obviously the ones we mentioned to begin with. You've got 7 or 8 guys that everybody talks about all the time that probably should be in the Hall of Fame. You and I think, are doing a little bit deeper dive, which I think is good. My second guy is really, really dark horse under the radar guy is Rick Russell. pitcher for the Cubs, pitcher for the Giants back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, you look at his WAR; he's right under 70. He's got more WAR career than Ernie Banks and Billy Williams. So, I mean, if you look at that, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame based on that criteria? Absolutely. Number of Gold Gloves. You know, he had a couple of top 10 Cy Young finishes. You know, so those are my two. I think as we go on in time, I think that the voters and the veterans committees and the Golden Era committees have a big job in front of them, because there's a lot of good deserving players that they're going to have to go back and take a stronger look at. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of pitchers in there. I mean, Jim Bunning's borderline. Why is Kurt Schilling not in there? I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. So the Hall of Fame, the last 5 or 10 years has really kind of gone off in a ditch, and I'm not real sure how they're going to get themselves back where they need to be. But, you know, there's a number of people. So you tell me what you think about those two, man.
Well, I agree that Gritch, and I believe his WAR isn't that among the highest that aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's right under
both him
Whitaker.
and Reuschel. Yeah, it's right there in like the top. You know, somebody come at me with the numbers. There might be 10 people higher, but he's right there as far as with the players that you know, the among the highest WAR that aren't in the Hall of Fame. And Reuschel was a horse for horrible teams. The Cubs teams in the 70s and the Giants and the teams he went to they were horrible. And he was a horse. And if you look at his numbers, there's a guy who's popping 17, 18, 19 wins. You know, and you can make the case he was as good as Niekro. I mean, he was doing, you know, his record to be 19 and 18 with 27 complete games, you know, and he's not considered in the lexicon as like Niekro, who would go 20 and 20 with 30 complete games. And Phil Niekro. That's just because he threw a knuckleball. You know, Russell was very good player. Right. And definitely, I think he's worthy of the Hall of Fame. I mean, we were talking about this Epa Rixey guy, right? Epa Rixey from the Phillies. Anybody wants to look up a player, Epa Rixey. Does anybody know who he is? He played for the Phillies in like the 30s. So it's not like he was playing in, you know, the dark ages pre-1900. Epa Rixey was a 500 pitcher. Like, I was like 250 and 240 or something like that. Had an ERA of like 3.5. I mean, why is Epa Rixey in the Hall of Fame? Who is this guy? And I'm sure there's probably a guy on our Facebook page that'll post tomorrow remembering Epa Rixey. You know, I'm sure he'll know who he is, but I don't. So why is he in the Hall of Fame? So we'll ask Jason Hill. Maybe Jason will know why Epa Rixey's in the Hall of Fame. That's a good question for Jason. So Jason Hill, if you're watching the show, post on this day I remember Epa Rixey and tell us why he is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point, Mark. I think that you could really cleanse the Hall of Fame, and they won't ever do this. They've come out and said they're not going to go back and retroactively demote anybody, but there's probably 15 people in the Hall of Fame that don't really measure up now, and for one reason or another are in, and good for them. I mean, you know, they were good, but you know, Rabbit Marinville, Epa Rixey, I mean, we could
Bancroft, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a long list of older guys that really just don't belong if you're going off today's criteria, which I guess is kind of how it goes. But you know, they
really go crazy and say, why the hell is Kennesaw Mountain Anderson, the epic racist who kept baseball lily white? Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
Right. Yeah, you could go down that road and get rid of all of them. So,
hey, right on. Hey, Mountain, look what I got. Right. Check it out. Yeah, it happened, right? You tried, but you know, you kept this guy out. So F you. That's what I say about Kennesaw Landis.
Right.
Why is he in the Hall of Fame?
That's a whole nother wormhole we could go down at some point. But I
get your point. I got my Monarchs hat on. Kiss my ass.
I get your point. I get your point. And you're absolutely correct. You could probably just start over, just tear the whole thing down and start over with that. So I don't know, man. I think WAR has really kind of opened up the discussion. You know, it's also kept some guys down. I think Steve Garvey, he was an all-star every year, had 200 hits, but really didn't do a whole lot else. So I think the WAR argument has kind of kept him on the lower rung. You know, you don't hear people talk about him a whole lot anymore. And while he was playing, I thought he was a surefire Hall of Famer.
Oh,
So, you know,
definitely.
there's people you can argue both sides. But anyway, so I mean that's that. You guys, you know, hopefully we'll get some discussion going on about this on the page. And you
Absolutely.
know, looks like you got something to show us, man.
I
So let's see
do.
what you got.
I've been waiting on some tonnage from Michigan, and I'm getting really disappointed with my friends in Michigan. So I may not be getting any more tonnage from Michigan because I've been waiting on about 30 pounds for a week and a half, and that's my fun. So that's not really about the money. I could care less, and generally I don't really make a lot out of it, but it's fun. I love spending 3-4 hours going through it and seeing what's what, and maybe finding a hidden treasure. But this is out of Ohio. This is a big old fatty came today. So I'm going to open it up here with everybody. There we go. Nicely packaged. You know, I'm really, oh, that's why I was wondering why it was so thick. I honestly forgot. So this is a little bit disconcerting. We got
Oh yeah.
that's a bit scary. So we'll just do that then. Let's take it out.
This all from the same person?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say I've never had a problem with these guys, so it was probably laying flat in there underneath. And but this is what we got out of Ohio today, and you're probably gonna see this on a sale. Some of these
And
cards.
why don't you enlighten the audience on how much this all cost?
Oh, right, because we're gonna go somewhere else. Well, and I also got all these original early 80s, late 70s Star Wars books because I am a Star Wars geek. So I got all these. Look at that's going in a frame and going in my classroom because
That's pretty awesome. That's
yeah,
badass
that's
right
going in
there.
a frame. So I got that, the Jedi. Look at this is a little ripped up, but pretty cool. You know, it was a lot, so take the good with the bad. Um, wow, holy cow, more posters, things. So, you know, most of these are probably just tossed, but this one's really cool. Return of the Jedi.
That's
Um,
awesome, man.
yeah, so the first one definitely, the one I'm definitely gonna frame, and let me get that one back again because that's just freaking amazing. That's why I bought. I like this one too. So I got that,
What does that
and
say inside Jabba the Hutt's court?
oh yeah, inside Jabba the Hutt's court. So
That's
the
fantastic.
Jabba, I might. No, I better not put Jabba in my room because I have a tendency to people that annoy me. I say they're like Jabba the Hutt, and that's kind of rude. So, but I really love that. I mean, that's gonna
Yeah,
pop.
that's great
That's
right
gonna
there.
look great in the frame. I'm just gonna frame it. So I got all those. So there's like 7 or 8 of them. This is amazing. Amazing. This is going maybe PC. Look at Gibson. Look at that 71.
Nice. Yes,
Look
yes.
at that. Is that not beautiful?
I am
Amazing.
spinning with the amount of 71s I've been looking at, and that's on the nicer side, man. Good for
That
you.
is right there. Um, Another guy that's in the Hall of Fame. It could be debated. Look at how nice this is. Look at that nice Don Sutton.
Yeah, that is nice.
That's sharp. All right. And I don't care if my card savers go on the floor because I can't stand card savers.
PWE, man.
Oh, it's a big ass plain white envelope. Lou Brock,
Okay.
big deal. He gets better.
He looks old in that picture,
Yeah, he does.
doesn't he?
Iconic card, a little touched on the edges, but you'll see. Mattingly rookie. All right.
Okay.
This one, not a fan, but hey, if somebody else is going to be enjoying this in a few days at their house. Really crisp Raleigh fingers. Look at that. Centering,
That is a
sharp.
nice one.
Nice.
Standard too.
Okay. James Lofton rookie card. Look at that.
29. Yeah.
A little touch on the corners, but still nice James Lofton. You know, being a Bills fan. This one, I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards. And this thing is just, holy cow. Are you kidding me? League leaders.
Yeah.
That just pops. And then the last one is one of the more iconic cards that we've been talking about a lot lately is the Ricky Henderson rookie card.
Okay.
A little, you know, not perfect, but hey, decent, nice. If somebody wants one at a good price, there you go. So, people, this is what I'm talking about. Be smart. Go outside the beaten path. You don't have to go to eBay. You don't have to, me and Greg, we're on the sales page, Vintage Fire Sales. We love it. We do good. We like the people and the interaction. But, on all the sales sites, there's always some people that are ridiculous with their pricing and things like that. You do not have to just do business with them all the time exclusively. There are so many different outlets and avenues to get cards. I'm not telling people where I get these from because this is my thing. I don't mind telling people I get cards from Goodwill, whatever. It's a good cause. God bless. They need the money. There's plenty of them on there.
What's the candy place?
The candy place is Economy Candy in New York City.
That's right.
So if you want to get packs from the late 80s, early 90s, you can get $1, $2 a pack. 88, 89, 87 Topps rack packs for $3. It's amazing. Just do your research, look around, Google search, get out in your community, search local card shops, search out card shows, auctions, things like that. So again, this where I get these cards, they're not card sellers. But so all these awesome cards and these awesome Star Wars books, $30.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't mind telling people $30 with the shipping, $35. So it's $4.95. So $35 shipped. All this great cardboard. I'm a Star Wars guy. To me, that's the money right there. Right. I mean, that's amazing.
That is great, man. I love that.
Absolutely.
And I'm not
amazing.
A big Star Wars fan. I think that's amazing.
That's
so I can only imagine how you feel. I mean, that's amazing. And so I'm gonna frame that up and I'm gonna put that in my room. So I know you feel similar too. I know you're a shop small guy, local card shop. You try to find other avenues to get cards besides the the different sites and things like that. And I'm a believer. I do, and I totally agree with you. I think that part of the issue, in the Vintage Fire Sales group, there's a lot of different sellers, and there's other Facebook groups that have as many or more members, and you can see the same card for sale at 9 different prices during a day. And I kind of wonder sometimes what people are thinking when I don't see a lot of patience. And, like you said, think outside of the box. There are other avenues to find stuff. I buy a lot of my stuff in the Vintage Fire Sales group. And I also buy a lot of PC items there. And, there's a lot of different places. So I totally agree with you. One thing that I do notice is please do not overstate condition on the cars that you're selling, because I'm seeing that a lot. I'm getting that from people, people people that used to really sell good stuff seem to be kind of scraping a little bit, and still charging the same prices. So, just be fair with your pricing if you're not selling high priced stuff. That's my whole thing. I've noticed that a lot lately, and I've gotten some that I'm not used to getting from a couple of different people that I'm like, God, why was this not free even? So, I'm kind of off on a tangent here, but price your stuff accordingly. I had a sale last weekend and I had some off condition stuff. It wasn't perfect stuff, but it was really cheap. So I look at the cards. I make sure that they're sellable. First of all, if they're not, they're in either a gross pile or they're in my free post, so just make sure that you guys aren't, that people aren't charging too much, and do your due diligence and ask to see pictures if you don't really know. So that's what I have. It's just something I've noticed has been going on a lot lately. I think people are scraping a little bit and kind of flailing around sometimes. So that's what I have for that.
I mean, if it's really old and stuff like from the 50s, and I'll sell some creased up stuff, but I say it's creased. Well, I'm never gonna just put if there's something wrong, I state corners, has a crease, blah blah blah. Even if it's a 25-cent card, I say corners crease, just so somebody knows. Especially if it's higher dollar. I don't really say it's excellent mint, vintage, near mint. I'll say it's sharp, it's beautiful. If I see a defect, I note it. I'm not a grader. I don't, mint, near mint. I don't know. I'm not going to say the other term that gets tossed around is pack fresh. Well, come on, man. That's just, if I hear Pack Fresh one more time, I'm gonna smack myself in the head. I mean, it's
Minty,
just,
minty pack
minty,
fresh.
minty Pack Fresh, and
Yeah.
and I think so. For me, as a seller, I'm a little different because my here, I'll show people this. This is my PC, right? That's all in this box. I keep it to that. So I'll alternate stuff in and out of there. If it's not Hank Aaron, Luke Easter, Andre Dawson, it really, I'll move it along at some point in time. But, so I don't mind. It's like buying a house. If it's going to be the last house you live in, if you pay a little bit above market, I don't care. If I'm buying something for my PC, I mean, you've seen it. I don't care. I will
Yeah.
pop on it. I do not haggle. I do not offer. You'll never see me, somebody's got a card for $5. Oh, will you take $4? No, I don't do that. If somebody's got $5, I want the card. I'm gonna put $5. I mean,
Right.
that's the other thing. So that's how I roll. So I don't mind paying a little more, if it's gonna go on my PC because it's gonna stay with me. And again, we use that economic term, utility. Why they call it utility, I really don't know. But everybody measures satisfaction differently. What satisfies me might not satisfy you, might not satisfy this one. So it's all different. We all measure satisfaction in different terms. It's not purely economic. So I bought a card from a seller, 61 Hank Aaron. It just pops. I mean, it's amazing. And I paid pretty good for it, but I don't care. It means so much to me. I love that card. I don't mind that, I paid a little above probably market. But that said, don't be that you can't have a creased up card at that level either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I understand that when I'm buying from quote unquote a dealer or I'm participating in the sale on one of the Facebook pages, I'm not gonna be able to resell that stuff and make any money, generally.
Right.
So that's not why we're there. So we're there for PC and that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the 61 Aaron's a good example. I'm that way with my SGC Yastrzemskis. I'm sure I could get my raw ones and send them in to get graded. I don't send cards to get graded. I don't know why. I just never really have. So I'm okay spending a little bit more for that too. So it's just preference, and if it's something you really want, you'll pay more. But then like you said, on the flip side, don't burn your customers. And I've noticed that happening personally a few times lately. And it's people that I'm probably not going to buy from much anymore. So for what it's worth, that's that. So
yeah, exactly.
Vote with my wallet is my mantra. So we'll see how that goes. But
right on.
Yeah. But other than that, man, I mean, it's been a great show. It's been a great couple weeks. I know you've had a lot going on. We're in the process of moving my daughter down to Orlando to go to grad school. So it's been hectic, man. And I hope we can get back to doing this once a week here. I know you got school coming up, so we'll see how that goes. But
no, it's easier when school's going on because it's a nice, I come home, let's talk about some baseball cards.
right, yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. On that front, I've had, you coming back, Mister? Yeah, I'll be back, kids. Don't worry, we'll be rocking.
Have you decided what you're doing? Or are you staying?
Well,
where you're
yeah,
at?
I'd say there's shout outs at the end of the show. I'm gonna stay at Loma High School. I love it. To give these kids a second chance and opportunity. And we just had summer graduation, and for the kids to graduate over the summer. And again, the easiest thing to do in life is give up. And these kids, I tell them, you're tough, you're brave, you're strong, you don't quit, you ain't giving up. And, they come up a little short for May graduation. I had like 3-4 kids from my room that did a couple of weeks of summer school to get it done. And, they could have said, screw it, I'm going to go to the beach, I'm going to party, I'm going to do my thing. No, they went to school and they got their diploma and they're class of 2023. So I was really proud of them. I was really happy that I was able to go to that. And, I was able to speak. It was empowering. I've never been able to do that at graduation, talk about the kids and talk about life. And it was really rewarding. So I'm definitely going to go back to that. And, I don't think I could teach in a normal high school. I've been impacted by what I've been doing. And, I need them as much as they need me. That's what I tell them. When we have a
Right.
bad day, I remind them, hey, Mr. Ford needs you guys too. So,
That's
we're all
great,
in
man.
together. And
Great.
then other one shout out, Central Florida auction in Haines City. Got a Jeep out in the driveway for Harley. We went there Saturday, went to a car auction, my first one, and I kind of blacked out for a few minutes. Don't really know what happened. Just my number went up, and then Shasta said, "Hey, Dad, you just bought that." I'm like, "No, I didn't buy that. Come on now." "Yeah, you did." "What happened?" "Oh my God, I just want to do something for Harley." "Well, now you just bought that Jeep."
That's awesome, man. You told me
I
about it. It seems like a pretty
said,
good deal.
yeah, this isn't a major, just a stopgap for right now until
Right.
we get somewhere. But we're a Jeep family, so
There you
that
go.
has nothing to do with baseball cards, but that's just what's going on with me. So
Well, right on, man. And that's really nice of you to do for your daughter. I think that's great.
no,
I've got a couple shout outs. Bill Page already mentioned. Um, everybody, I put a post up for some 71s. I'm trying to finish that set, man. It's going to be probably the wonkiest, god awful set you've ever seen, but it'll be mine and it'll be done. And I appreciate everybody that's helped me on that path. And I'm down to 20 now, so I'm getting there. And then it's on to 72. So we'll see how that goes. But shout out to everybody that helped me do that. So
yeah, excellent. That's
other
awesome.
than that,
It's getting it done. It doesn't matter. You say if it's a creased up, wrinkly, you got a smiley face written on it. You set out to do it and you do it. So
right. And Michael, I do have a Michael Montgomery. He sent me the one of one, and I have it across the street, and I didn't bring it. The one of one redback 1971 Roberto Clemente. So
you
it's
sent me
got
that
red.
picture, right?
Yeah, it's got red paint on it, but he gave it to me for a great price, and it's a filler until I can get a better one. But I may not ever fill that. It's got
Right.
some character. So
Yeah, it's like that Aaron I got that has the 44 in the back. So what? I mean,
yeah,
that it stands in the front, right? Nobody's gonna look at
right,
the back of the card. So
exactly.
it's really amazing. All right, it
But
was
other than that,
really, yeah, it was great getting back together, and I want to
yeah,
thank everybody that's been watching the show, and we really appreciate it. And we got some good things coming ahead. I hope. I mean,
yeah,
we're trying to get some guests on, like professional people. So
yeah.
hopefully we'll be able to start announcing some guests on the show here pretty soon.
Well, yeah, it's been great, man, and it's good getting back on the horse. And it hasn't been that long, but it seems like it's been forever. I really enjoyed doing this with you, man.
All right,
Hopefully
and well, I'm here for your
this next
daughter.
weekend.
All right, I'm here. Right down the
Yeah,
road. Something happens, call Mr. Ford. Oh,
I
don't
will.
worry, Dad. Don't worry. We got it. It's
Yeah,
gonna be okay. All right,
I appreciate that,
everybody.
man.
Yep, y'all have a good weekend and or week. It's not the weekend; it's the week. So y'all have a good week, and we'll hit you next weekend. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.